Okay, so hello everyone. So welcome to another video tutorial. So in this video, we're gonna discuss the if-else statement in Kotlin, so the basic ones. Okay, so let's try it out. Okay, so as you can see, I've already opened my previous workspace right here. Okay, excuse me. So I've also written my entry point right here, my main function right here. Okay. So first is we're going to declare a variable. So we're going to create a variable. Okay. So again, we're going to discuss now is the if-else statement in Kotlin. Okay. So first, we're going to create a variable. So val, and then for example num1, then specify the data type, which is integer, and we're going to assign a value to it. Okay. So next will be num2 and integer, specify a value, then 20. As in my previous video, you can also use var, okay, variable, and then the var is you can assign a string right here, which is the val is a constant. So meaning once you assign the value to it, you cannot change, okay, or you cannot assign any value to it. Okay, so I hope that's clear for you. And then we're going to set our condition right here. Okay, so if, then curly brackets, then we're going to print some message right here. Okay, so any specific message, and then else print another specific message. Okay, so this is where we're going to set our conditions right here. So if the number one variable is greater than or equal to the number two variable, so it's going to print the, for example, a sample message. So sample message, it will be number one. Number one is greater than number two. Number two, very simple. Okay, or else number two is greater than number one. Okay, number one is greater than number two. If if number one, or the variable number one, is greater than number two, it will print this one. Or else, if the number two is greater than the number one, it will also print this one. Okay, so let's try it. So let's run our code. Okay, so as you can see, it outputted the number two is greater than number one. It's because our variable number two is very clear, that is greater than the variable number one. Okay, so we can also add a sample concatenation right here. So we can also print a value right here, num2, number two. Okay, so we can also add the same right here, num1. Excuse me. Then we're going to run. So what I'm doing right now is just basically a concatenation, so outputting what is the assigned value of that variable. Okay, so the same. So what if we're going to change the value of this one, 30? Then we're going to run our program, our code. Okay, so as you can see, the result now is different from the other one. So it outputted the number one is greater than the number two. It's because our variable number one now is now greater than our variable number two. Okay, so I hope that's clear for you. By the way, guys, this is just a concatenation. I'm just outputting this one. What is the value of it, of the variable? Okay, so the value of the number two is 20, and the variable value of the number one is 30. So you can also do this one, the concatenation right here. For example, using the plus sign. Okay, so just type number 1. Okay, and also sorry, number 2. So they're just basically the same. So it's up to you guys to kung unsa inyong ganahan nga paggamit ani. Okay. Okay, so I hope it's clear for you. So let's try another example. Okay, so what if this time we're gonna let the user, we're gonna prompt the user, we're gonna prompt the user to input a specific integer or a specific number. Okay, and then after the user will input the condition, or we're going to set a condition that will determine basically whether the two inputted numbers will be greater than or equal to. Okay, I hope that's clear for you. So okay, so excuse me, let's do it. Okay, so first we're going to prompt the user, or we're going to let the user input two numbers. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So very simple, the print statement. Okay, so please uh, enter number 1. Okay, very simple. And then we're going to declare a variable, or we're going to create a variable that will store that specific number. So val number 1, and then integer specified to it, and then we're going to use the function readline to catch that value. Okay, so readline, and then we're going to convert that into an integer type. Okay, so 2m. 2. Okay, very simple. So we're going. So next is the same. We're going to print a message. We're prompting the user to input a second number. Please enter number 2. Excuse me. And then the same. Assign a value. A variable. Integer. Readline. And then convert to integer. Okay. So if, and then if else, so we're going to print here, print, and then specific message, print specific message. So we're going to print number one. Let's try the concatenation. So number 1 number 1 is greater than number 2. Okay, so let's try it. Number, oh, going to change this one. So number 2. Okay, or else number 2 is greater than number 1. Oops, number 1. Okay, so we're going to set our conditions right here. So if number 1 is greater than or equal to number 2, so it's gonna print. So if number 1, the user inputted is greater than the number 2, it will print this one. So if it is not, it will print this one. Okay, so let's try it. Let's run our code. Excuse me. Okay, so please enter number 1. So I'm going to enter 15, my first number. And then please enter number 2. So I'm going to enter the second number, which is 20. Okay, so 20 is greater than 15. So the second condition is being outputted. It's because the first number is 15 and the second number is 20. So what we did right here is, okay, so I'm going to explain all over the top. Okay, so again, we're prompting the user, or we're just printing a message right here, which is using the print function, okay, with a message of, excuse me, please enter number one. And then we're assigning a value, we're assigning a variable that will catch that specific integer, that specific number. And then using this readline function, and then we're converting that to integer. It's because this, again, in my previous video, this readline function right here is only for string usage. Okay, so next is, again, we're also prompting it, basically printing another message statement right here, this line of code right here. And then the same, declaring or assigning variable that will catch whatever value is being inputted, and then converting to integer. Okay, this is where we set our condition right here. So if the variable number one is greater than or equal to number two, so this means if the variable number one is greater than the variable number two, it will print this message right here. Or else, if it is not, and then it will basically print a message right here. Okay, so that's why. So let's input another a number. So you could see another example. So we'll input a smaller, greater value right here, which is 50, and then my second number will be uh, 20. Okay, so as you can see, 50 is greater than 20. Okay, it's because the variable number 1 is greater than the variable number 2, so it prints right here, as you can see. Okay, so I hope that is clear for you. So we're going to discuss more about statements in the next video. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.